Hello everyone, and welcome back to Grow with Keeley. Today I want to talk about something that I think so many of us carry silently. Something that keeps people suffering behind closed doors, smiling when they don't want to smile, and saying I'm okay when they're anything but. Today's episode is called When the Burden Stops You. Because sometimes it isn't that we don't have people around us. It's that we've convinced ourselves we'd only become another problem for them. If you've ever stayed quiet because you thought you were too much, this episode is for you. Now, have you ever typed out a message asking someone if they're free to talk, and then deleted it? Or looked at your phone wondering who you could call, only to convince yourself everyone is busy? Maybe you know your friend has children. Maybe your mum has enough on her plate. Maybe your partner's had a stressful day. Maybe your best friend is already struggling, so you tell yourself, I'll deal with it. It's not that important. You don't need my problems as well. And before you know it, you're carrying a weight that was never meant to be carried alone. The hardest part? Nobody knows. Because you've become so good at pretending. I personally think one of the saddest conversations happens every single day. Someone asked, how are you? And without even thinking, yeah, I'm fine. Fine. One tiny word. Yet behind that word could be, I cried myself to sleep. I haven't eaten. I don't know how much longer I can cope. I'm exhausted. I'm scared. I'm lonely. I'm drowning. We've become experts at hiding. Sometimes because we're protecting other people. Sometimes because we've learnt nobody asked twice. And sometimes because we're terrified of hearing, I haven't got time. So we smile, we laugh, we carry on, while inside, our ship is slowly filling with water. So here's what I've learned. Most people who feel like a burden usually spend their lives making sure nobody else feels like one. Think about that for a moment, because you're probably the person who checks in, the one who listens, the one who remembers birthdays, the one people lean on, and yet when it's your turn, you suddenly believe you're asking for too much. But where did that belief come from? And sometimes it comes from childhood, feeling like your emotions were inconvenient. Sometimes it can come from relationships where you were made to feel dramatic. And sometimes you've opened up before, only to be dismissed, ignored, told to get over it. So now, your brain is trying to protect you. It says, stay quiet, don't inconvenience anyone. Handle it yourself. And your brain isn't trying to hurt you, it's trying to stop you from being hurt all over again. So here is something I recently explained to one of my workshop attendees. So I asked them, imagine you're on a ship. At first, there's just a tiny leak, nothing major, and you tell yourself you'll sort it later. But then another leak appears, and then another. Stress, anxiety, grief, loneliness, self-doubt, pressure, heartbreak, and eventually your ship starts taking on water. Now here's the important part. People on the shore can't see what's happening beneath the surface, so all they see is a ship that's still floating, so they assume you're okay. But inside, you're desperately trying to bucket out water with your bare hands, and because you don't want to burden anyone, you never wait for help, until one day, you aren't just struggling, you're sinking. And the strongest thing you can do is raise your hand before your ship disappears beneath the waves. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Keeley, they are busy. Yes, they probably are. Life is busy. People have jobs, families, stress, appointments, problems of their own. But being busy doesn't automatically mean people don't care. Sometimes support doesn't look like a 2-hour conversation. Sometimes it's, I'm here, I'll call you tomorrow, let's grab a coffee this weekend. I can't talk right now, but I'm thinking of you. And the people who truly care rarely expect you to carry everything alone. And if someone genuinely can't support you in that moment, that doesn't mean you're a burden. It means they're human too. One person's capacity today is not a measure of your worth. If you're listening to this while carrying something heavy, can I ask you something? Who decided you had to carry it alone? Because I don't think it was the people who love you. I think it was fear. Fear whispered that you'd be too much. Fear convinced you your pain was inconvenient. Fear made you believe silence was kinder. But silence has a cost, and sometimes that cost is you. So today, I don't want you to promise you'll tell everyone everything. I just want you to choose one person, one safe person. And instead of saying I'm fine, maybe say, actually, I'm finding things quite hard at the moment. That's enough. You don't have to carry the whole ship by yourself. Before I finish today's episode, I want to leave you with this. Needing support doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you dramatic, and it definitely doesn't make you difficult. And it certainly doesn't make you a burden. It makes you human. The people who truly love you would much rather know you're struggling than lose you to the silence you felt you had to carry alone. So if today's episode found you exactly at the right time, please let it be the reason you take one small step towards someone, because you deserve support too. Thank you so much for listening to Grow with Keeley. If this episode resonated with you, I'd really appreciate it if you shared it with someone who might need to hear it. You never know whose ship is quietly taking on water. Until next time, keep growing, and remember, you were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your own.